Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. LeBron James would never win a championship in the 80s or the 90's, right? What you see on the screen, you're not seeing things. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. I'm sure you heard about how stacked it was in the 80's, but seeing is believing sometimes, right? When they tell you Michael Jordan, he couldn't beat Bird and Magic. That's all that was on that team was Bird and Magic. The Bird and Magic. And then couldn't beat Isiah until he got old. Everybody just got old. And that's when Michael Jordan started to win because all those guys got old. Not remembering that Michael Jordan's first playoff game was a half century or half decade, century, half decade into the decade, into the 80's decade. You know, people like Isiah Thomas and Shannon Sharp and Nick Wright try to make it sound like Jordan came in the same year that Isiah Thomas came in, where Isiah came into the league in, what was it, 81. That's when he came into the league and missed his first 2 years of the playoffs. That's what Isiah Thomas did. So, I don't care. I'm sick of hearing about Michael Jordan was 1-9 before Pippen. And let's just remember, Michael Jordan only played a couple series, the best of 5. It's not like Michael Jordan was playing the Detroit Pistons and who was that? The Cleveland Cavaliers his first 3 seasons. He was playing 5 to 6 Hall of Famers. So what you see on your screen right here, to me, is very, very disturbing. Very disturbing that the NBA would actually let something happen like this back in the 80's. It looks like to be something that happened with the 60s Celtics with this super team. So let's look at this. In 1980, this is the playoffs. We're talking about who they have in the playoffs on these teams. 1980, this is Bird, Magic, Isiah, and Jordan's 80's Hall of Fame teammates, right? So in 1980, on the Celtics, including Bird, it was Bird, Pistol Pete, Tony Archibald, and Dave Cowens, right? For Magic Johnson in the Lakers, Magic Johnson, Kareem, Jamal Wilkes, and Michael Cooper. Isiah Thomas, not in the NBA. Michael Jordan, not in the NBA. The next season, 81, you have on the Celtics, Bird. They just went to the Eastern Conference Finals, right, where they got beat in 80, and now they get the number 1 draft pick. Oh, good. I don't care how it happened. We know how it happened. It's just a coincidence, right? So in 81, you got Bird, Micheal, the number 1 draft pick, Tony Archibald, Robert Parrish, and Dave Cowens. 5 Hall of Famers on one team versus in 84 Hall of Famers on one team. For the Lakers, got Magic Johnson, Kareem, Michael Cooper, and Jamal Wilkes. Michael Jordan was not in the league. Isiah Thomas was not in the league. 82, Bird, Micheal, Tony Archibald, Dave Cowens, and you have Robert Parrish. This is an 82, the playoffs. So when we go to that, we're talking about the 82 playoffs. What type of talent do you have to work with? In that, again, my friends, is 5 Hall of Famers. That same year, Magic, Kareem, for the Lakers, Magic, Kareem, Michael Cooper, Jamal Wilkes, and they added who? McAdoo, Bob McAdoo. Oh, they didn't have enough help, did they? They didn't have enough Hall of Famers. Let's add another Hall of Famer, right? We need to shore up the bench. Isiah Thomas was in the league that year in 82 because he got drafted in the 81 offseason, but he did not qualify. Right? He did not qualify for the playoffs. Michael Jordan not in the NBA. So you already see these dudes are stacking up these teams. Um, the next season, 83 for the Celtics, Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, and Micheal and Tiny Archibald. Is Tiny Archibald top 75? I should have checked it out. I just don't think. I know he's a Hall of Famer. But yeah, just right here, you got three top 75 players in 83. Cowens took off. In the same year, 86. No, not 86. 83. I'm looking at six Hall of Famers. Magic, Michael Cooper, Kareem, Jamal Wilkes, Worthy comes along. These guys just won a championship and get the number one draft pick. Wow. McAdoo. So six Hall of Famers right here we're dealing with. Wow. Incredible. Isiah Thomas, in the same 83 playoffs, did not qualify. Sorry, buddy. And Michael Jordan was not in the league. 84. You have I guess Tiny retired, right? 84, you got Bird. They added Dennis Scott. You got McHale, you got Parrish. Four Hall of Famers. And for the Lakers, that same year, in 1984, it's the same cast of six Hall of Famers: Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Michael Cooper, Jamal Wilkes, McAdoo, and James Worthy. Wow. Woo. And this is Isiah Thomas, the lone Isiah Thomas, just him as the one Hall of Famer on that Pistons team. Michael Jordan was not in the league. The next season, I don't know why it says 84, but it's supposed to be 85. 85, you got the same cast of guys for the Celtics. Larry Bird, and you have Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, four Hall of Famers. Here we go again. Six Hall of Famers again for the Lakers. Magic Johnson, Kareem, Cooper, Worthy, Jamal Wilkes. You got Bob McAdoo. For Isiah Thomas and the Pistons, Isiah Thomas and Joe Dumars are the Hall of Famers. Michael Jordan comes into the league, his first playoffs. At least he made the playoffs. Isiah Thomas couldn't even make the playoffs his first season. And Michael Jordan was by himself. 86 NBA playoffs. You have Larry Bird, McHale, who you got? Dennis Johnson, and you have Robert Parrish, and now you got Bill Walton. Five Hall of Famers in the 86. And now for who is this? Now they only got four, the Lakers. Magic, Kareem, Michael Cooper, and James Worthy. In 86, you have, for the Pistons, Isiah Thomas, and you have Joe Dumars. And we'll talk about that a little bit more about the Pistons and how that whole thing is weird. In that year, 86, Michael Jordan, he had one Hall of Fame teammate, which was Iceman. And we know Iceman, after that playoff series that they lost, he retired. Gone, see you later. He retired. He was old, right? When he come in, like 72 or something? Maybe before that. So him and Mike really didn't even play together because him and Mike had the broke foot the whole season, and then Mike came back with 15 games ago or whatever like that. So he had my Iceman, but he didn't have Iceman. Iceman didn't come back the next season, and George Gervin was one of Michael Jordan's idols. I think that's the only reason why he was on that team. George Gervin was pretty much done. He was a big defensive liability. He could still score, put up some points, but I'm just trying to tell you, if you don't have the effort back in the 80s and 90s and maybe some of the 2000s, you just couldn't be on the floor. It don't matter how good of offensive player you were if you didn't give the effort defensively. Not saying you had to be an all-defense team or defensive player of the year, anything like that. If you go back and watch old games, you have to give the effort. Your coach will lose his damn mind. That's why I said these coaches today, They couldn't coach back then. Those were real coaches back then. The coach would give you the business. It didn't matter who you was going to get the business whenever you messed up. These coaches today, they don't give no player no business. And it's weird when you see some of these coaches today that coach way back in the past or play back in the past, and they're trying to coach this gimmick game, which is hot potato around the 3-point line. It's weird that you see them trying to coach this stuff because that's not even real basketball to them. So I don't understand where the translation is with this whole hot potato 3-point game, this gimmick game that's going on. And that's why I always start with, like, Chuck, Kenny Smith, and Shaq. I like what they do. They're good analysts. They're funny analysts. They're probably the best, right? As far as that longevity streak that they had on TNT, but you got to bring in some new guys. This is not their era. The 2000s was even their era. Yes, it was Shaq's, but they're not even playing 2000s ball or 2010s basketball no more, right? They're playing some gimmick international game. So for me, it's like I don't want to see Kenny and Chuck and Shaq talking about this new gimmick game that you didn't even play. How can you be an analyst on something that you didn't even play this type of game? It's not even real basketball what they're playing. This is something new in the 2020s. We never played this kind of basketball. And what I'm gonna tell you, this is what it's like. I was talking to a friend today about this. It's gonna be almost like the NFL, right? If the NFL, let's see, if they told, I don't know, you could do a lot of stuff, but let's just say they took the offensive line and the defensive line away, and you just can't even rush the quarterback. And the quarterback is just looking for guys now. He's looking for his receivers. You can have a what is it called? You can have linebackers, right? Because you still got your running back, so you can have linebackers. You just can't have an offensive line and a defensive line, but you still got your receivers, you still got your running backs, you still got your linebackers, you still got your defensive backs and your safeties, and you still got your receivers, and you still got your tight ends. You just get rid of both lines, offensive line, defensive line. It would just look weird. It would just look weird, and this is what it is to me when I see today's game. It is not what was going on in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even the 2000s, even the 2010s, really. Because this is what you can go back and watch these Golden State games, and it was Curry and Clay at the 3-point line. It wasn't the whole damn Golden State team. All this is a lie about Curry changed the game. No, Curry didn't change the game. This isn't basketball. All they told you back in school when you went to AAU, whenever you play basketball, high percentage shots. Not all perimeter shots. And you ain't gonna win unless you got a big man. All these teams winning, and they got big men because these big men can get these high percentage shots. They can play defense. But yeah, this is this gimmick game that they're playing today. They're lazy. They don't want to play, a position game. They don't have any position skills or nothing like that. But this is in comparison what it would be like watching the NBA. If the NBA went to some gimmick game, they just took away the offensive line and the defensive line and said, okay, let's go. And then and then they would have the nerve to compare this new gimmick era, right, to eras of the past that actually play football, that had an offensive line, defensive line, that play actual football, and they start comparing. It's ridiculous. So let me see where we was. I think we was in 86. So in 87, we're in 87 now. So in 87, 5 Hall of Famers for the Celtics: Bird, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, Bill Walton. That's 5. And then 4 Hall of Famers for the Lakers: Magic Johnson, Kareem, Worthy, and Michael Cooper. And then you got, for that same year, 4 for the Pistons. You got Dennis Rodman. Oh, I said I'm not going to forget this guy. Adrian Dantley. I always forget this guy's name. Oh, my goodness. Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, and Dantley. Michael Jordan is all by himself after he just had this 1 year senior citizen Iceman. The next year in '88, you got Bird, you got Micheal, you got Dennis Johnson. Who the hell is that? Robert Parrish. Who is this guy right here? Oh my goodness, I can't. Let me see if I can remember his name. 80's. I had it on the tip of my tongue. 1988 Celtics team. I, is that okay? Yeah, that's 87, 88. So come on now. What's this guy's name? I think he came out the 70's too. Oh, this is something. Is this? I don't know what that was. I think that was Give me 1 second. I think they tried to take me to some kind of. Artist Gilmore. Oh, that's Artist Gil. I couldn't even remember. He looked so different. So, yeah, '88 Bird. So he wasn't. Yeah, he was on that team too. So Bird, Micheal, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish, Artist Gilmore, and guess what? I'm not even going to put in Bill Walton because I think he was hurt that year. But we could. He didn't suit up for the playoffs. But if we did, it would be 6. Same year in '88, Magic, Kareem. Who you got? Michael Cooper, and you got James Worthy. That's 4. And then the Pistons again 4. Adrian Dantley. Let me say his name first before I forget. Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, and Isiah Thomas. For Michael Jordan that year, a rookie, Scottie Pippen. Remember, this is the guy that took him over the top. I mean, the 9 points per game. No, what did he average? He averaged 10 points per game. Not against the Pistons because they didn't play the Pistons in the first round. They didn't play the Celtics in the first round. They played the Cavs, which they were underdogs. And Michael Jordan had to put up like 45 points per game, some legendary-ish. And is that year that Michael Jordan hit the game winner? That's the year, right? Against the no, I think that's '89. So yeah, Pippen, the first round, 10 points per game in that series against the Cavs that got Jordan over the hump. So I'm guessing Jordan, if the 10 points per game got Jordan over the hump, I guess Jordan only scored like 5 points per game. You see how they do it? Like, at least if you're gonna lie, at least make it believable. At least lie and say, yeah, Pippen. Pippen got him over the hump. Pippen was scoring like 25 points per game. 10 points per game. Wow, that's pretty bad. I don't even think he was the third highest scorer. If he was the second highest scorer, they would have lost that damn series. So in the next round, in that same year, Pippen's averaged 9 points per game. Well, I wonder why that 9 points per game, 1 point less, didn't get him over the hump against the Pistons that same season. So it's the same old. And then we go to '89. You got Bird, you got Micheal, you got Robert Parrish, and you got Dennis Johnson, 4 Hall of Famers. And then, same thing with the Lakers. You got Magic, you got Kareem, you got Michael Cooper, you got Worthy. Then you got the Pistons with 3 Hall of Famers. They let Adrian Dantley go. I told you we'll talk about that in a minute. Isiah Thomas, Rodman, and Joe Dumars. And Jordan is stuck with a second-year whoopee cushion who can't even shoot, Scottie Pippen. That's who he has. That's his Hall of Famer. So when we talk about the Pistons, Mark Aguirre, this guy should be a Hall of Famer. So we did a piece on this before, a video, that from '86 all the way until '91, Michael Jordan, with one Hall of Famer Pippen who can't even damn shoot the ball, didn't even turn into a good defender until the '90s, '91. From '86 all the way until '91, Jordan faced 3 to 5 Hall of Famers in the playoffs, no less. No less than 3 to 5 Hall. No, hold on. No, I would say it's more than that. 3, 5, 3. I think 7. I think he faced 7 because he had to face in '91. He had to face Worthy, Magic. Who's that? Isiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, and then you had Joe Dumars. You had not Isiah Thomas. What's his name? Charles Barkley, and then you had Patrick Ewing. So Michael Jordan had to face 7 Hall of Famers, right there, including the West. But we're talking about the East. From '86 to '91, Michael Jordan faced 3 to 5 Hall of Famers. Yep. Yep. So I'm going to ask you this question right here. And I'm not trying to say Magic wasn't good or great. Bird wasn't great. Kareem wasn't great. Or even Isiah wasn't great. But let me ask you this. Do they win even one championship with one Hall of Fame teammate? Let alone 3 straight championships, a three-peat. Do those same guys, Bird, Magic, Kareem, Isiah Thomas, do these guys win a championship or a three-peat with just one Hall of Famer like Michael Jordan? I'm not sure. Did they prove that? Because on here, they've never proved that they could win a championship with no less than 3 Hall of Fame teammates. No less. And on here, they played with well, you won't want to count them, but they don't play with up to 5 Hall of Fame teammates. Bird, Magic, and Kareem. We won't say Isiah Thomas. Isiah Thomas needed at least 2, right, to win 2 championships. Michael Jordan needed 1. When Bird and Magic was winning championships, Michael Jordan was still in high school. I bet you didn't know that, did you? I bet you didn't know that, right? Did you? Bird and Magic was already winning championships when Michael Jordan was in high school. That's crazy. No, to me, when I look at this is what I'm wondering. If you already got these stacked teams, let me show you real quick. I'm looking at this right here. And it's mostly, I'm talking about Bird and Magic. So Bird and Magic come in, and they got let me see, they each got 3 Hall of Fame teammates. So how comes that ain't enough? Unless one of them retired, right? We know Pistol Pete retired. Okay, so the next season, Bird has 4 Hall of Fame teammates. In Magic, he still has 3 Hall of Fame teammates. Most of these guys was already on the team when Magic came. Jamal Wilkes, Cooper, and of course Kareem. Same thing for Bird. But when we get down to, let me see. See, when we get down to 83, and now we got 6 Hall of Famers on one team, and they went out for the Lakers, and they went out and got Bob McAdoo. Really? So this is why the Lakers were so dominant? Their bench was loaded. And then you have, I don't know if this, the Celtics did this because the Lakers did this, but in '86, what was a little bit before that, Dennis Johnson, when they lost Cowens and Tiny retired in '83, they went out and got Dennis Johnson. Now Dennis Johnson, come on, man, we got a franchise player of another team. They went out and got that in '83 offseason, And Dennis John, it was already 3 top 75 players on that Celtics team. How much more help did they need? And I think, did they have Danny Ainge by then? Um, yeah, they had a slew of dudes. And then when we go to 86, they go and get Bill Walton. That's not enough. Why are these guys adding so many pieces? And then I told you when we got to 86, um, they went and got Artis Gilmore. Oh, not 86, 88. What where is Michael Jordan stacking these teams at in the 80s? But people are saying, how come Jordan didn't beat the Lakers in the Celtics? And you can even say the same thing with the Pistons, right? They went out and got a Hall of Famer. He only stayed there for 2 years, but they went and got Mark Aguirre, who should be a Hall of Famer. They went and got Larry Beer, who should be a Hall of Famer. They got Vinny the Microwave Johnson. They got John Sally. They got Rick Mohorn. They got so many pieces. It's ridiculous. And Michael Jordan had this frail, anorexic, malnutrition Scottie Pippen who couldn't even shoot and was skinny as a rail that didn't wake up until 1990. That's it. That's it. Let me see something real quick. I want to see what Mark Aguirre. Oh man, that dude's 64 years old now. Wow. Come on, man. I gotta stop. It's raining outside. Mark Aguirre. Of course, he got drafted by Dallas. 3-time All-Star, 2-time champion. What? This guy averaged 20 points per game, 18,000 career points. Oh wow! Why are they doing this man like that? Now, if Mark would have just stayed, let me see when he leave. Let me see something real quick. So I think he stayed 8-9 years with the Mavs, killing it, and then he went over to the Pistons in '89. And look, man, if he would have stayed with the Mavs, man, that man would have averaged 25 points per game for his career. In 20 points per game, that's more than it's more than Scottie Pippen. It's more than a lot of guys. This guy should be in the Hall of Fame. 18,000 points. Yeah, he should be in the Hall of Fame. And that's the reason why they won that championship, because the talent that they had on that team was just incredible. Michael Jordan's team in 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, it was built off of defense, and it was built around Michael Jordan scoring, or if you try to stop him passing the ball. Scottie Pippen woke up in 91, and it just took off from there. To me, I don't think the league got weaker or it got older. It was just the Bulls' turn, just like it was the Pistons' turn. Just like they had these loaded teams in the early '80s. It was a turn. Who can beat that? So going into the '90s, it was Michael Jordan's turn because it was so much parity. Dudes weren't trying to stack teams like that. And like I told you from the beginning, if LeBron James played in the '80s, he's not winning the championship.